Hello and welcome to part 3 of adding collage to a piece of abstract art. Well, today, from when we finished off yesterday, since then I've added a bit of mark making just with acrylic paint markers around some of the elements in here. Make them stand out or give a bit of contrast and interest. And today I'm just hoping to add some tints of, say, white, probably. Might add some greys, sort of in and around the shapes, just maybe simplifying some areas or emphasising certain things by putting, say, light colour beside a dark colour or vice versa. So I'm just going to play and see what happens. Okay, here we go. Now I'm going to add some white and just a tiniest smidgen of a turquoise colour that I used in some of the gel prints you got here. So just a tiniest bit, and that will just give the white tint, so it's not pure white. And yeah, let's go. So here I'm going to increase that contrast between some of these shapes, but I don't want it to be perfect, you know. I don't want it to be solid white because that's just going to look a bit stark. But what I am going to do is, once I've done this a little bit, and you notice I'm using a very dry brush with just a little bit of paint on, so it just gives a misty appearance. It's not a solid appearance. And then what I quite often do is either use a kitchen towel or some tissue and just blot off some of the paint, and it just makes it a bit thinner and yeah, lets the other colours come through, and then I can sort of scratch through it as well, and you can see a few colours coming through from the base, which was wax crayons and pencils, and yeah, just gives it a less solid effect. So it's very subtle what we're doing now. We're just adding a little bit of contrast, but it does make a big difference in the grand scheme of things, so it's well worth doing, and it can simplify, which can make the design more powerful than if it's just too busy and complicated. So yeah, that's what I'm doing now. Just pop around some of these elements, and sometimes I might take the paint away, sometimes I might not feel I need to. So here it's going on very thin and subtle, so maybe I'm thinking, do I need to take some off? Maybe not. Maybe I'll just leave it as is. Just take the tiniest bit off, but just gently blot. And if you make the paint a bit thicker, it can come through with some of the texture from the kitchen towel, which is actually really nice, but not here because we're not really doing it so drastically. So just emphasise these shapes a bit more, simplify this area, although there's some nice things going on. It's okay, we need to cover some of it up, we can't keep everything. So that's all part of it, is learning what to keep and what to subtract. Now here I'm going to try scratching in to this, maybe with a sharper, it's a skewer. You could use a toothpick, or anything sharp really that will do the job. And while the paint's still wet, you can scratch through and get some nice juicy little effects through it, which is nice. And then you can go back in if you want and do a bit of painting again. Sort of push and pull, see what works, see what you like, and go with it. It's all play, it's all fun, and there's no pressure, which is what I love. Very spontaneous. There we are. So this can take a while because you just have to work around the whole painting and think where does it need to be sort of rationalised, simplified, edited. Here I think we can increase that contrast again. That sort of lost a bit of its whiteness. I think that layer of white was quite thin, but I think it would benefit from it being a bit stronger there. So I'd put more paint, very small amount and no water. It just gives a more sort of see-through transparent effect, which looks great. Some more white there, a little bit more, touch more of the turquoise. It's not an expensive paint, it's just a cheap pre-mixed turquoise colour because it doesn't need to be powerful. If I used phthalo blue or phthalo green, neat. It's such a tiny minuscule amount. It's not worth getting the high pigment paints out. Just any paint will do really, mixed in with some white. That's what I'm doing here. Yeah, and this turquoise is going down nicely in between everything. So that's good. Looking good, I'm happy with that. Might just, every now and again I think, I haven't done that for a while, so I'll get this towel out and just give it a little smooth over, and I'll just keep it so it's not too, the paint's not too thick. It doesn't get too cakey and too intense. So, and also you're blocking out all the nice underpainting if you do it too thick. So here we are. Just emphasise this nice arch up here. And this shape below, which I like a lot. And that's the great thing, you can just edit as you go and enjoy, really. It's quite a calming sort of activity to do. Quite very enjoyable, I enjoy it. And yeah, so you can, I often like listening to music. I'm doing this work, and I've got my headphones on. I get into my music and just paint away, and that sort of helps me, I think, not to think too much. It helps me not to overthink. It helps me to paint more intuitively, not be second guessing all the time, which seems to work for me. So, going to have another little that off. The paint dries very quickly, especially when you put it on with a dry brush. So, if you want to get marks in, you have to get them in quickly. So I'm just going to go over this a little bit more with, put a bit extra white in, just to make it a bit extra whitey. And hopefully I might be able to get some scratches in there. And that will just adds a bit of interest. We've got the white stripes there with some see-through, and then here if we put some stripes of a different sort, so it adds a bit more interest. And someone can think, oh, how do they do that? It gives a bit more interest to the eye. your artwork and enjoyment. I love scratching through paint, really do. So I'm glad I've discovered it. Can be very therapeutic. Right, I'm going to actually try and make some little circles here, because there seem to be some nice colours underneath when I scratched through before. So if I put some wet paint on it again, we can go over some of the edges of these shapes, because that just softens them as well. So that's good. That can be really good. Do a bit of that while we're at it. And I'm going to use the other end of the skewer and make some little circles. There you go. There's a nice one. And you can see this is why, one of the reasons why I do the initial mark making with crayons and pencils, whatever, because this is a nice effect you can get through scratching through, and it's really lovely. Really love that. What you can do then, if you want to, put some more white in the middle, just in the middle, not to the edge, and that just, yeah, gives it a nice contrast. So let's do a bit more sort of almost, I would say, feathering, softening around some of these elements. And we can have a bit of the white sort of flowing down, a bit like, think of it like an ethereal sort of mist or fog, or it just gives it a more dreamy, abstract quality, which I love. And I keep going with this. Okay, right. Just going to have another little scratch in here. We'll try doing some little, oh yeah, look at that. Those lovely little markings under there, pink coming through. Yeah. See, that's why I like scratching. Can uncover some little gems you didn't really realise were there in the initial layers. That's great. Absolutely fantastic. And even on the dry paint, sometimes you can have some nice scratching, depending on how vigorous you are and various factors. Right, let's do a little bit more with the white, and we might add this time a little bit of a more what's this, viridian, a little bit more greeny, just of the same mixture. We've got a bit of that sort of colour going on, these sort of colours. So let's try that down here. Oh yeah, that's lovely, isn't it? I really like that. Really nice sort of minty colour. I'm liking that very much. Again, just feather it around a few bits to soften, and it sort of incorporates the shapes into the picture really well as well. So that one's covered that a little bit too much. Then if I get a slightly dampened towel, should be able to get it off again. There, I've got most of it off. So you have to be quick with acrylic paint, but you can. It's fairly adaptable for a little while. Where else am I going to put this greeny, the green, maybe a touch down there? Oh, that's nice with that purple, isn't it? Where else is there purple that I could put this? That's a nice thing you discover as you go along. Oh, that looks nice with that, so I'll put it there. Combines well. Purple, so yeah, put it near the purple. Seem to play well together. So make a few more little circles, and I'm going to get the towel out again, get it all good. Press to remove any excess. There you are. Just keeps it from getting too solid. Okay. Now, up here, I like it, but that's looking too whitey white to me. So let's see if that green colour looks nice. It might not. Let's see. Yeah, it's not too bad. Again, I will need to either use the paper or scratch through to just take a bit of that off. And sometimes I collect these ghost prints, as I was saying in another of my videos, and keep them to use in future collage. I'm not today, just to keep it simple. And there you are, I can just scratch around these shapes I've already made and just makes them stand out, makes them more interesting. And maybe just gently scratch here and there as well, just to give some texture and let you see through to the underpainting a bit more. There we go. So I'm going to carry on a little bit longer with this, and I will then be coming on to adding some more small see-through transparent pieces of collage that I've created just from sort of tissue paper that was in packing with clothes. It's nothing special, and we'll pop those on with some gel medium in my next video. Please do join me again, and thank you for staying to the end. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe and like. That'd be a great help to me, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.